Hello guys, welcome to my channel IELTS with Priyanka. This video will explain you the section 3 of General Cambridge Book 11 Test 1. This section is little tricky as this section have 2 to 3 type of questions, and also in this passage we have 3 type of questions. So let's have a look at the passage. The heading of the passage is The Zebra's Long Walk, Africa. Now let's check which type of questions are given. Here first we have 28 to 34 questions that are list of headings, that is the 7 questions, and we can see that the headings which are given are the 10 in number. So the 3 headings are the trap for us, so we have to work skillfully. Next we have 35 to 37 questions which are fill in the blanks, and the blanks are generally in order. And then 38 to 40th questions are the MCQs. So to solve this passage, we will quickly read the questions so that we have an idea what we have to find. Now to solve the question type, that is the list of headings, first we will thoroughly read all the headings and have an idea about the questions. Here first heading is a decrease in the zebra's population. That is, something would be described by the author that happened which lead to the decrease in the zebra's population. Second heading is an obstruction on the traditional road. That is, something may be happened on the traditional road, that is, the roads may be disturbed or anything else due to which the regular routes are closed. Third heading is an unknown species. That is, in the paragraph there would be talk about a new species which had never seen before or anybody doesn't know about it. Fourth heading is some confusing information. That is, there would be explanation that the description is not clear to anyone or the reason behind the information is not clear to anyone. Fifth heading is staying permanently in Makadi Gadi. That is, there would be a description about someone who permanently stays in the Makadi Gadi. Sixth heading is nearly a record in the zebra world. That is, something would be explained that had never happened before or never heard before in the zebra's world. Seventh heading is 3 different ways of living. That is, there would be explanation about the 3 different styles of living. Eighth heading is the original aim of the work. That is, the author will describe the reason behind the work that had done. Ninth heading is how the information was passed. That is, the ways may be described by which the information passed or the medium would be explained. 10th heading is why it is important to study zebras. That is, the author will describe the reasons which are important. That is, why zebras should be studied. As you know, the passage is little tricky, and to save our time, we will read the first blank and the first MCQ so that we have an idea. And when we find the location, we became able to find our answers. So the first blank is zebra tend to live together in small units, which experts call. There would be a name about someone about the small units. And the first MCQ, that is the 38th question, is how did Hattie feel when she heard some of the zebras had traveled so far? So we have to find about the Hattie's feeling, what she feel when she heard some of the zebra had traveled so far. So we have to find about the Hattie's feeling about the zebras traveling. We will not read the options. After reading the passage, we will match our options with the passage, and the option which is clearly according to the paragraph is the correct answer. Now read the paragraph. James Gifford investigates some interesting new research into migration patterns of zebras living in Botswana in South Africa. Paragraph A is for any animal to travel over 270 km in Botswana, partly across the sand and low bush terrain of the Kalahari Desert, is a remarkable achievement. But to do so in 11 days and without any obvious motivation, as the zebra population does, is quite extraordinary. On average, their journey involves an exhausting round trip of 588 km between the Makadi salt pan area and the Okavango River, making it second only to the great trek undertaken by the zebras herd in the Serengeti National Park. However, what is even more incredible still in my view is that until recently it was completely unheard of. Here, in this paragraph, making it second only to the great trek undertaken by the zebras herd in the Serengeti National Park, that is nearly a record, as the first record was made by the zebras in the Serengeti National Park and the zebras of Botswana were next to them. So it is clearly nearly a record to travel over 270 km in Botswana. So let's find the suitable heading for this paragraph. A decrease in the zebra population? No, there is no talk about decrease in the zebra population. An obstruction on the traditional route. There is no description about the traditional route. An unknown species? No, they are not found any unknown species. Some confusing information? No. Staying permanently in Magadi Garden? No. Nearly a record in the zebra's world? Yes, this is the right option because they are talking about a record in the paragraph. So the best suitable heading for this passage is heading 6, that is nearly a record in the zebra's world, and the answer of the 28th question is heading number 6. Now read the paragraph B. Hattie Baltram, a researcher, discovered this migration while she was tracking zebra groups, officially known as harems. Yes, we have read this blank. I think we almost find the location of the blank. Now read the paragraph further. Officially known as harems by Okowongo Riven for her PhD. We will underline this line, PhD. Each harem consists of a stallion and his 7 or 8 mares with juvenile foals. There is no loyalty between zebras. Beyond this social group, though harems often gather together into so-called herds for her study, Hattie had planned to compare the small-scale movement patterns of 11 zebra herd in the area. So, by reading the paragraph, here for her PhD, that is the original aim of the work, that is the reason behind the work had done. So, the original aim of the work was Hattie's PhD, and we had read the heading regarding that. That is the heading number 8. That is the original aim of the work. The original aim of the work was her PhD. She was studying the zebras for her PhD. So the answer of the 29th question is heading number 8. And our first blank is, as we had read before, zebra tend to live together in small units which expert calls. And by reading the paragraph, that is, Hattie Baltram, a researcher, discovered the migration while she was tracking zebras groups officially known as harems. That is, which experts, that is the researchers, while she was tracking zebra groups officially known as harems. So the answer of the 35th blank is harems, the officially known as harems. So we will write harems in our blank. Now we will read the next blank, that is, here a male zebra has charge of a number of adult dash and their young. So read the paragraph. In the next line, each harem consists of a stallion and his 7 groups or 8 mares with juvenile foals. Here see how they link the words male zebras, that is stallion, and his 7 or 8 mares, that is number of mares, and their young, that is juvenile foals. In this way, the author linked the words, so the answer of this blank is mares. So we will write the mares in the 36th blank. Now read the next blank. These units sometimes assemble in bigger groupings or dash, but it is clear that the zebra's loyalty only extends to the small units they live in. Now read the paragraph. There is no loyalty between zebras beyond this social group, though harems often gather together into so-called herds. Here, gather together, that is, sometimes assembles in bigger groupings into so-called herds. So the answer of this blank is herd. So we will write in our blank herds. Now read the paragraph C. In December, when the annual rains had transformed the road into rivers, Hattie was therefore more than a little surprised when she checked the data by the radio collars she fits to the zebras. She is trekking to find that 6 of the harems were 270 km away on the edge of the Makati Gadi, a huge mineral-rich area where salt has collected over the years as water evaporates in the heat. Then, when the last of the moisture from the rains had disappeared in May in the following year, 5 of those harems came wearily back to the Okavango. This raised the question why, despite a plentiful supply of the food and water, were the zebras being drawn eastwards to the salt pans? Even more difficult to understand that was which made 6 of the groups travel so far while the other 5 remained back to the Okavango. So, from the last lines we got that the Hathi was confused why the zebras being drawn eastwards as they have plentiful supply of food and water, and the more difficult for her to understand that what made them 6 of the groups travel so far as other 5 groups remain back to the Okavango. So here we find that she was little confused why the zebras had moved to the eastwards. So the answer to this passage is some confusing information. That is the heading number 4. We will write the answer for the 30th question is heading number 4. Now by reading this paragraph, we also find the location of our first MCQ which we had read before. That is, how did Hattie feel when she heard some of the zebras had traveled so far? And we also read in the paragraph how the Hattie was feeling. Now, by reading this paragraph, we also find the location of our first MCQ which we had read before. Here in this paragraph, there is an explanation regarding the migration. By reading the last lines, that is, Hattie was confused as there was plentiful supply of food and water, and why these 6 group of zebras motivated for that much long trek while other groups remained back to the Okavango. So read the options to find the correct answer. Option number A is annoyed because she would have to follow them to Makati Gadi. No, they are not talking about their following. Option number B is disappointed that not all of them made it back to Okavango. No, she was not disappointed. Option number C, frustrated as the rains had made the roads unusable. No, she was not frustrated and the road was not, rains were not made the roads unusable. Unsure as to their real motivation for going. Yes, this is the correct answer because she was unsure of their real motivation for going. She was unsure about their trek. She didn't actually know the reason behind their trek. So the answer to the 38th question is option number D. Now we will read our next MCQ, that is, when describing the different Botswana zebra populations, the writer indicates. So we will find about the different zebra population, what the writer says. We will find this answer by further reading the paragraphs. Now read the paragraph D. This discovery created quite a buzz in the research community. I decided to visit Hattie and she explained that a century ago, the large number of Botswana zebras and wildebeest herds and the resulting competition for grass made migration essential. One of the migration tracks went from the Okavango to Makati Gadi, but in the late 1960s, chain fences were put up to stop foot and mouth and the other diseases spreading between the wildlife and domestic cattle. One of these went across the migration track. Though the animals could get round the obstacles, each leg of their journey would now be 200 km longer, an impossible distance given the lack of permanent water on the extended route. Even today, with the fences gone, it was taken down in 2004. There is dangerously drinking water to support the zebras on the return journey to Okavango. So by reading the 4th, 5th line, that is, Jade fences were put up to the Jade fences were put up to stop foot and mouth and other diseases that were spreading between wild animals and the domestic animals. And to stop this, they put these chain fences on the regular route. By this, the suitable heading for this passage is an obstruction on the traditional route. Obstruction was the fences which were put up. So the answer of the 31st question is heading number 2nd. Now read the paragraph E. As a zebra can live up to 20 years, the migration must have skipped at least one generation during the 40 or so years that the fences were up. This prompts another question. It has always been assumed that the young of the social herbivores like zebras learn migratory behavior from their parents. So, how did the latest generation learn when and where to go? Not from their parents, who were prevented from migrating. Did they follow another species, such as elephant? We may never know. So in this paragraph, they are talking about the migratory behavior and how the parents pass this information to their young ones. So the suitable heading for this paragraph is how was the information passed on? The answer to the 32nd question is heading number 9. As the fences were put up on the route. Now read the paragraph F. Hathis data point to conclusion that there are several zebra populations adopting different behaviors. The first, like the vast majority of the Okavango zebras, take it easy, spending the entire year by the river. The second group, 15,000 to 20,000 strong, work a bit harder. They divide their time between the Makarigori salt pans and Buteti river, which is reasonably nearby. And is in the next lines they are talking about the final group of zebras. So in this paragraph they are talking about the first group, the second group and the final group, that is the third group. So the suitable heading for this paragraph is heading number 7, that is 3 different ways of living, and the answer of the 33rd question is heading number 7. As we remember, we also have an MCQ regarding that. When describe the different Botswana zebra population, the writer indicates. So we have to find about the zebras across the Botswana. So by reading the further lines, the final groups of zebras whose number are the more modest, though as yet unknown, must surely be considered as among the animal kingdom's most remarkable athletes. By moving between the Okavango and the salt pans, they enjoy the best of both worlds. But the price they pay is an extraordinary journey across Botswana. Now read the options. Option number A is his admiration for the ones who migrate the furthest distance. Yes, the author is talking about his admiration because the journey they did was the extraordinary. Option B is his sympathy for the ones who stays by the Okavango river. No, he was not sympathetic about anyone. Option number C is his disbelief that those by the Buteti have difficulty find food. No, there is no disbelief about the zebras have difficulty finding food. So option number C is incorrect. His anxiety that their migration patterns may not be able to continue. No, he was not anxious about the migration patterns. So the option number A is the correct answer. His admiration for the ones who migrate the furthest distance. Now read the next MCQ, that is the last question of the passage. What does the writer suggest in the final paragraph? So we will find this answer in our last paragraph. So by reading the last paragraph, that is paragraph G, endangered species naturally tend to grab the headlines. So it is refreshing for a relatively abundant animal like the zebra to be the center of attention for the ones. Zebras are vital part of the food chain. Understanding their migration in turn help us to interpret the movements of their predators, and the Hathis research has shed light on the impact of fences on the migratory animals. So what triggered her interest in zebras? She explained that it is our question. She explained that It is easier to get funding to study the exciting animals like lions. Crucial as that undoubtedly is, she believes that herbivores like zebras are the key to understanding any ecosystem. The scientific community is fortunate that the people like Hattie are willing to take the hard option. So in this paragraph, Hattie explained the reason for the study of zebras, and she also explained that the zebras are crucial for our ecosystem. So the suitable heading for this passage is why it is important to study zebras. So the answer to the 34th question is heading number 10. As we have read the paragraph and the question also, we are to find the writer's suggestion. So by reading the option number A, too much time has been wasted on research into the predator like lions. No, he was not talking about that the time has been wasted on the predators like lions. Option number B is it is sometimes necessary to go against the trend in research matters. This heading may be the answer, but we will read further. Option number C is research will result in a ban on fence in area where zebras live. No, there is no any result like a ban were put up on the fences. So this is the wrong option. Option number D is research into animals which are not endangered will increase. No, they are not talking about the endangered species. So this is also the incorrect option. So the correct option is B, that is it is sometimes necessary to go against the trends. Yes, the Hattie was talking about we have to go against the trends, that is all the researchers are researching about the lions, but it is also necessary to study the zebras as they are the important part of the ecosystem. So the option B is the correct answer. So with this, our passage, The Zebra's Long Walk Across Africa, is over. See you in the next video. Bye bye.